Okay, class, welcome to Dftg 1376 Rivet Architecture. Um, and today we're actually going to start building the model. I know I showed you guys a very large scale model during last class period. However, I think that's a bit much to kind of just throw you guys into at this time. So for the first couple of weeks, we're going to do some smaller scale models that give you some time that will give you some time to learn, the basics of the software as it regards the ribbon and all things associated with the ribbon. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I did give you guys the access to the free ebook. So what I want you guys to do is to download that, and I want you to go ahead and open up and start a new project. Okay, I already have started mine here. Yours will probably be a little bit different. This is one that I typically use for my business, but you guys, the instructions are in the book as to how you start a new project. It's very, very simple. In fact, let's see if I can close this guy. And if I go to new here, okay, I already have something set up, okay, but you guys can go to Imperial Multidiscipline and click that one and open up that file. It'll be essentially the same as what you guys are seeing here, with the exception to the reference planes, okay. Let's close this out and we'll go to first floor plan. So I have reference planes here set up to give me boundaries for sheet sizes, okay? But again, this is an intermediate course. This is something that you guys will not have to worry about, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the model. If we actually go and we look at the Vital Source book, I want you guys to go and click on exercise 2.1, which is the walls. So we'll be basically building out this model in class today. We're gonna erect the walls, we're gonna install the doors, the windows, and we may do the roof. We may save this portion for next class period, but at any rate, this is the small project that we're going to be building. I think it's simpler to do it this way, especially when you're doing residences, to start with something small and then graduate to something that's going to be a whole lot more bigger in terms of scale and square footage. All right, so this guy, we have a living room, we have a bedroom, and we also have a second bedroom and a small bath. This is the lake cabin plan. Okay, so let's go ahead back to Rivet Architecture here, and let's actually start to draw. Now, there is something that I want you guys to do. I want you to go ahead and download, go to the internet and type in Rivet hotkeys. And Rivet hotkeys, these are hotkeys that we are going to utilize in this class. Utilization of hotkeys actually saves time, okay? So instead of you clicking on a tab, like going here and then clicking wall and then clicking what type of wall you want, you just type in WA and then the wall command becomes active. So we'll pick up on this and you guys will learn more and more how to utilize this as we matriculate throughout each module in the course, okay? But for this project, for the start of the project, we want to use the basic wall exterior brick, and I think let's do brick on CMU. Well, let's just go with an exterior brick wall, okay? So first things first, we know that the extent of this building is going to be 48 feet by 26 feet. So let's go ahead and draw a wall, okay? So again, I'll exit out of the command, and what you guys will do, you'll come here and you'll click architectural wall, okay? And just go ahead and use the basic wall brick on 2x6. So that's a brick finish with a 2x6 interior wall stud. And if you are new to the program, new to the software, new to the industry, I know that's something that's a little bit foreign to you, but just hang around. We're going to explain it all, okay? So the way Rivet works is once you have this command active, you can click anywhere in the drawing window, and now you can see your walls starting to be drawn, okay? So we do know that this wall, the extent of this wall is going to be 48 feet, right? So while the wall command is still active, you can drag it a certain feet, and then you can just type in 48, and that tells Rivet 48 feet is the exact opposite of AutoCAD. If you type in 48 in AutoCAD within the command active, it's going to think 48 inches. Well, Rivet is the invert of that. So everything goes to feet in Rivet. So what you want to do is type in 48 feet and hit enter, and boom, now your wall is drawn at 48 feet. Now let's take a look at that wall. If you click this house up top, this will give you the 3D default view. Okay, so this is the beauty of Rivet. You can actually draw your 3D model while you're actually drawing your 2D plan. Okay, so this is that wall, and actually if you come here and you just do something like shaded, okay, now you can see the extent of that wall, and you can see the brick on the exterior side of that wall. Now when you click on a new view, a new tab opens up. Okay, so this guy should have been closed. So once a new tab opens up, then you still have the tab that you was previously on open. So you can just click the tab here to go back to the floor plan. Now let's look at this wall. Okay, typically in the floor plan, you see the hatched side of it. That indicates the side of the wall that the brick is on, which is perfect. You want it on the exterior. Okay, if you select that wall and you hit the space bar, then you could flip the wall itself. Okay, so let's just say we had drawn this wrong and we needed to correct it. Then you can just, let's go back to the 3D view so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. You can just select this guy here, hit the space bar, and now the wall flips back to the correct direction. Okay, so let's go back to the first floor plan. We do know that this wall is 48 feet, and we need to draw the other walls. So what I like to do is when you have something drawn already, you can select the wall, right click, and hit the create similar option. This will create a wall that's exactly the same as the one you selected on, but you have to select the object and you have to right click and click on create similar. Now what's going to happen is the wall command becomes back active, as you can see right here. Okay, so there is a thing called location line. All right, and right now while we're drawing the exterior walls, you want this on core face exterior, and I'll show you exactly why. So now when we get ready to draw this wall here, okay, and we draw it, let's just say southward, and we know it's going to be 26 feet, right? So you just type in 26 and hit enter. Oops, and that guy came in crooked, so let's do it again. Create similar, and just type in 26 and hit enter. Now you have your other wall. Now look at what happens. You have the brick on the inside. So what do? You select the wall, hit the space bar, boom. Now you have your brick on the exterior on both sides, and you also have your interior wall studs on the inside. And we'll get into that later in the detailed chapter. Now, there's a thing called reference planes, and I like to use reference planes a lot, especially when I'm dealing with buildings that are symmetrical. Okay, so the hot command for reference plane is RP. Okay, and what you want to do is type in RP, and you want to hover above the center of the wall. Typically, it's just like AutoCAD for you previous AutoCAD users, and if you have not used AutoCAD, it's going to tell you what point you are on the wall. So let's draw this reference plane on the midpoint of the wall right here. Okay, boom. All right. Now, you can click these reference planes because in some projects you have so many that you have to name them. So we'll just name this one center of wall. That way we know what that is. You click on it, it's going to tell you, okay, that's the center of the wall. And it's really not pertinent here, but when we get into the larger scale project and we actually have hundreds of reference planes, there are going to be some of them that we are going to have to actually label so we can know what they are. Again, so now let's use something that's called the mirror command, okay? And we'll go over all of the commands as we utilize them. I know last week you guys viewed that Rivet ribbon and interface video. That was pretty good. But essentially, most of us, we learn hands-on and we learn by means of repetition. So that's why we're going to go through a bunch of these before we actually jump into the really big scale model. So let's proceed. So let's just say we wanted to do the same wall but on the south side of this building. Okay, so we're talking about north is up, south is down, east and west and so forth. Okay, yeah, I can click on this wall and I can right click and I can do create similar, and I can come here and go through the same process and see Rivet will align once you have one wall drawn. See how it's snapping to that 48 feet. Okay, boom. Now you click on that wall, it's 48. Click on the wall, 48. This wall right here, it's actually not drawn correct, so click it, hit the space bar, boom, now you have your brick on the exterior. But let's delete that. Okay, let's just say, we are very well off with Rivet and we wanted to get things done quickly. So you can select this wall, you can type in to access the mirror command, select this center axis to tell it to mirror that wall about this center axis, and boom, now your wall is in place. And you can do the same thing for this wall, right? So let's type in RF for reference plane. RP, I'm sorry, not RF. RP for reference plane. Go to the midpoint of that wall, and let's draw a reference plane here as well. We don't have to name this one. I just wanted to name that one to show you guys that they can have a name tag to it. When we get to the larger project, you guys will actually see how we're going to utilize that. So let's select this wall, type in and select the center axis. Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 walls erected. Now what does this look like in 3D? So now you have the 4 walls of your building in place. Okay. Now, before we proceed, and the only reason why I didn't do this the first time was because I wanted to show you guys how to draw the walls. Typically, the way Rivet models is you draw the walls and then you put in the floors. We know that is not consistent with industry standard. Industry standard requires you to pour the slab and put the floors down first, or not the floor finish, but the actual slab itself. But for software purposes, we have to do it this way. So let's say if we want to go ahead and put a floor in here, right? So what you want to do is you want to go and type in. So this is your walls. These are your doors. We're going to put doors in later, okay? Let's go back to the architecture tab. See right here where it says roof, you can put your roof in. And right here where it says floor, you want to click on architectural floor. Okay, so now what Rivet does is it goes into what's known as sketch mode. And while it's in sketch mode, you want to come over here and you want to select this command called pick lines. Okay, so you select the pick lines command, and this basically creates a line based on an existing wall or edge that's in the drawing. So you want to select pick lines, okay? And now you want to, let's just say, pick the line that is between the brick, okay, and the 2x4 wall stud. So the center line is where you want to place your floors. Typically, the interior walls or the 2x4s will be placed on top of the floor, and the brick ledge will be placed on top of the brick ledge. When we get to the structural portion of the course, you will actually see how that's going to work. Okay, so now you want to click here, and now you have all 4 lines drawn. Now let's say if this line superseded that line, and this line superseded that line. Well, Rivet will see that as something that's not a closed loop, okay? And when I say closed loop, that means that this line is still extending, it's not closed anywhere. So if I tried to click the check mark to actually finish this drawing, I will get an error message. It says lines intersect each other. The highlighted lines currently intersect. So in order for the floor to be actually put in and modeled, you are going to have to trim these lines to get them what's known as closed loop status. So you can type in TR for trim extend, and boom, now it's closed. So now with all of the lines and all of the ends are closed, you can click the finish edit mode check mark, And now you have your floor in the model. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to edit this floor because it's a floor slab, it's concrete, and it's just like the walls. Okay, you can put all different types of floor slabs in here. And let's go ahead and create one because this is a 12-inch slab, which is not typical for a residence, and even an 8-inch for a small residence, it's not typical. This is a very small residence, so it's probably going to have something like a 6-inch slab. So let's say if we wanted to modify this, okay, and let's go to 3D and actually show you guys how it looks in 3D. Okay, so now you have your floor in, correct? But let's modify that floor because right now that floor is 8 inches. What if we wanted it to be 6 inches? Okay, you can select that, and then what you can do is you can go to the edit type button on the properties menu, and you don't want to override or you don't want to change the 8-inch slab because you may have an 8-inch slab in another portion of your building if we're doing a larger building. Okay, so you want to create a different slab type, right? So what you want to do is you want to duplicate, okay, and you want to say concrete slab, change that to 6 inches, and I'll show you why we're doing it this way in a second. Okay, and you want to click OK. Okay, now what you want to do is on the construction, under the structure tab, you want to edit the structure of that slab. Now, see the structure here? The default setting came set to 8. You want to change that to 6. And you want to click OK. And let's leave the coarse scale field color to black. Everything else can stay the same. You click Apply. Then you click OK to get out of it. Okay, so now, and the way I'm orbiting, guys, is if you hold down the shift button and you push the wheel button down on the mouse, then you can orbit. If you want to pan, just push the wheel down button down and you can pan. If you hold down shift and push the wheel down, you can orbit. Okay, it's just a lot easier to utilize versus trying to pick a corner here and trying to drag it around. This is the view cube. You can use the view cube to orbit the model. It's just quicker, and you know, in this industry, time is money, as we talked about in the last lecture. You could hold down shift, push the mouse wheel down, and you can orbit all the way around your building. Okay, and if you wanted to pan, just push the mouse wheel down without holding down shift, and you can pan around. Okay, now let's look at the slab that we just created. Okay, now when you click on it, it's going to say 6-inch concrete floor slab. Well, what happened to the 8-inch? Well, it's still there. So if we had not changed it and created a new name, it would have overwrote the 8-inch slab, and all the 8-inch slabs in your building would have been changed to 6 inches. So we always want to duplicate something before we actually modify it, okay? Because if you modify a window and you don't duplicate it, then every window in your model is going to change, and you're going to have it's going to be a bad day at BlackRock, right? So, you know, we'll learn more and more stuff like this as we matriculate throughout the course. So essentially, that's how you put your walls in. And we'll get into things like, you know, graphic display options. Right now, we're just going to either keep it at hidden line, which is really good. Okay, and we're going to learn about how to turn the shadows on and how to turn the shadows off, and you know how to do a whole bunch of stuff. You can go ahead and click the smooth lines and turn the shadows on here and show ambient shadows and apply it and see how it looks. You know, there's so many things that we're going to learn in this course, but first things first, I want you guys to actually get the basics of how to install floors, how to erect walls. I think the very next thing that we're going to go to is we're going to actually install the doors and the windows, and we may go ahead and place the roof on the building as well. Okay, so good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Now, let's go ahead and add some doors. Let's go back to the first floor plan. Okay, now, before we move on, you see over here where it says first floor plan? Well, when we get to a point where we're doing multiple stories in a building, you could rename this by right-clicking, and you can click rename. And you can just say first floor, right? Or first FL. So I just want you to know everything on the project browser you can rename. You can even duplicate a view, but that's something that we'll get into later in the course. Right now, we're just going to focus on building the model. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and add some doors. And what I want to do, or what I like to do, is I always like to refer to the book to see what size doors they are adding. So 36 by 80, which is the standard typical size door. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some interior walls. We're going to add some doors. All right, so right now it's giving us an interior wall, and you can type in WA for wall, and that's the exterior wall. So now we want to add some walls here in the interior, right? So let's go here. And let's go and put in some generic interior walls. All the exterior walls are going to say exterior. Everything else, it's default interior walls. Okay, so let's go with a 6-inch generic interior wall. And let's go ahead and just draw one right here, really quick. And again, with the wall command active, you can hit the space bar to flip it while it's active as well. Just drop it in right there. So now you have an interior wall. It's not really giving us a dimension here, not at this point. So what I would say is, see this button right here? It's called dimensions, or you can just type in DI, okay? If you hover above some of the icons, some of the hotkeys for the icon will pop up. So it says align dimension DI, okay? So if you type in DI, now you have the dimension tool active. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you guys something, okay? So say if we had that dimension. Now that's an 18 6-foot clearance, that bedroom. Right now I think the book is calling it out to be 20 foot. So you can actually click the wall and then click right here and just type in 20, hit enter, and now your wall has just moved to 20 feet, okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually draw another wall on the center of this wall, and we know this is our center line here. So you're going to right click on that wall and go to create similar, because we want to stay within the parameters. Now you see how the wall either goes left or right, okay? We really need the center of this wall to be on the center of this line. So what we're going to do is we're going to exit out. We're going to type in WA to activate the wall command again, or we're going to go to this wall and right click and click create similar. See this location line? We want to change this location line to wall center line. So now when we draw a wall here, it's going to be centered on that line. Now why is that important? Because if I go back and I type in DI and I drop a dimension, let's just say from the center of this wall to the face of this wall, okay, and from the center of this wall to the face of this wall, now we have rooms that are equivalent in width, okay? And same thing here. If you wanted to change it, you can select this wall, you can come here, and you can type in 15 feet, which will give you one room that's bigger than the other, right? But we're going to stick to how things are being called out in the book, 12 foot 6 or 12 foot in each bedroom, okay? So now let's go back to the 3D view, which is the most fun part about it. And now you have walls already drawn in your model, okay? Exterior, which is brick walls. Interior, which is, 2x6 wall with gypsum on both sides, 5/8 inch gyp. All right, so now let's go back to the floor plan here. Now, let's go ahead and add the little bathroom here. Okay, the bathroom says 10 by 7, so this is perfect. So say we want to draw a wall that's 10 feet away from this wall. And what we can do is, I like to use reference planes a lot because you can give them offsets, or you can actually use the wall command to do the same thing. So you're going to type in WA for walls, and right now you're doing the basic generic 6-inch interior wall. And we do know that this bathroom, it's 7 feet in width, okay? So what you can do is change this back to finished face exterior, okay? And we'll talk about the height of the walls later. I'll show you guys how to adjust that once we actually get all of the walls installed. And we may even put a ceiling in. I'm not sure yet. Let's see how we're going to do it. But see this command right here that says offset? So you can come here. We know that that room is going to be 7 feet wide. So you can type in 7 and give it an offset of 7. Type in 7 and hit enter. So now when you click right here to draw your wall, or let's just say right here, look at what it's doing. It's drawing the wall that's 7 feet or so away from the exterior wall, okay? And we also know that this room is 10 feet long. So we're going to type in WA to activate that same wall command, or you can select the wall and click create similar. And let's give it an offset of 10 feet. And you come here, boom. Now look at these walls, okay? If you go to your 3D model, you have two walls that's intersecting each other, all right? So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and select the TR for trim, okay? And I've been using hotkeys so long, sometimes I forget where the icons are. But if you select the wall and you just type in TR for trim, okay, you can select this wall and then select that wall, and that'll close it off. So now, when you guys go and you look at the model, you have your floor end, you have your interior walls, and you also have your exterior brick walls, okay? So next, let's go ahead and apply some doors. So let's go back to the first floor plan, and let's put some doors in that have been shown according to the plan that's documented in the book. All right, so for doors, you can either come here and click doors, or you can type in DR, which is what I like to do, okay? And let's see, what type of doors are they wanting us to throw in here? I think they said something like 36 by 80. Yeah. So we'll go here, 2'8". 36 is 3 feet. So you want at least a 3/0 door. Let's go with a 3080 door right here. Okay. And you want to go ahead and place that door right here on the wall. Now when you're placing these doors, if you hit the space bar, you can flip it, right? You flip the doors, that's how the door is going to be placed. Boom. There is a door right there. So now when you select the door, okay, typically the space between the wall and the edge of the frame of the door is about 6 inches. We like to keep it at 6 inches. So you want to, if you just type in 6, it's going to make it 6 feet, right? So let's experience that. Just type in 6 and hit enter, or just move that door 6 feet over. So really what you want to do is you want to type in 0, hit the space bar, then put 6. This tells Rivet, okay, we need to move the door 6 inches. Or 6 inches from that exterior wall, okay? And you can take this guy and take this tag and just put it to door tag so we can make sure it's a 3/0 door, okay? And you guys probably not going to have that. That's just for the project template that I am using, which is for some commercial, not commercial, but a professional residential firm that I do contracts with. So I can't give you guys this actual file, but I can utilize it. Now, we're showing another door on the opposite side of the wall in this bedroom, right? So what you want to do is select this door, right click, and then click create similar, or better yet, you can select this door and hit MM to access the mirror command and mirror it about the center axis, all right? And there you go, right? So now typically when you do that, you don't get the tag that goes along with it. We'll take the tags off for right now. We can go back and tag everything, which we will do at a later date. All right. Now, same deal with the bathroom door. Come here, right click, create similar. Okay. And hit the space bar to flip the door because you always want to open the door. You want the door swing to swing back to the wall here. Okay. And right now we have 8 inches, so let's go ahead and change that to 6. You'll see the door shift a little bit. Let's take the tag and let's see, door tag. Let's take the tag. This is just for me. You guys don't have that. Okay. So now you have all of your doors except for the entrance door. There's another door right here. Typically for entrance, I like to do double doors, DR. So let's do a double 3080, or you guys may not have it. If you don't have it, then you can just use a single 3080, or you can use a two 3080s and just place them next to each other. I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. In fact, uh, let's see. See, I have French doors. I have all kind of doors. I'm gonna drop some French doors in mine. You guys may have this, so we'll do. See that two right there? That signifies two doors. Two 3068 doors. Let's see if we can find two 3080 doors. There it is, right here. So now you want to take this door and you want to drop it in just like this, right? And you want to change the door swing, so just place it here, okay? Now you can come here. Let me delete the tag. Now you can come here and select the door. Select this guy, 0, spacebar 6, hit enter, just to move it over, give it its proper spacing, okay? But say if you wanted this door swing to swing in, okay, when you select the door, you see these little arrows here? You can always select that arrow and it'll flip the door, okay? So now let's see what the building looks like in 3D. So now you have your doors in, okay? Now if you're not able to get these exact same doors, you can just go with another double door. There are double doors that come set by default with Rivet, so you can just be creative with the doors. You don't have to have the same type of doors, but make sure if it's on the interior that you have an interior door, and if it's on the exterior that you have an exterior door, okay? Right, so good stuff, good stuff. So now what you want to do now is you want to go ahead and save your work. Save as, and for me, you want to save it as project as well. And what I like to do is come here. Let's go to my desktop. Save it in a specific spot. I like to create folders, okay? And right now I'm going to create a new folder because this is a new course to me, Dftg dash 1376. I advise you to do the same. Double click in here and then create another folder, right? That says course model. Then double click here and you want to call it, what did we say it was? It was a, let's name it how it's named in the book, Lake Cabin, okay? Lake Cabin. And actually, let's put the date first. So it is what? 2024, and today is 125. So 2024-01-25, space Lake Cabin. Okay, and you want to save here. The reason why I do this is because when you have a bunch of files and you label it this way, you go 2024-01-25, it'll save those files by the year and by the date in chronological order. It makes it, I've programmed myself to save things this way because when you have multiple projects or multiple versions of one project, you want to make sure you're documenting your progress as you create those multiple versions. So this method will actually help you to go in and pick projects, okay? Because it's going to say 2024-01-25, that's the date it was saved. All right, so click save here. And sometimes Rivet does take some time to save. So now your model has been saved. Now let's go back to the book, okay? Because we're going to try to, I can teach it without the book, but I like to give you guys the book as a gift for me to use, something you could, take away with you when you leave the course, because we never stop learning, right? Even when you go work in a firm for somebody, sometimes we're human. You don't remember everything. Sometimes you have to go back and refresh your memory on things. So it's good to have these books, right? And I've given you guys the credentials to sign in. I do apologize. I thought it was going to be a version like I have in my other Rivet course for commercial architecture, to where you can actually download the book and save it to a flash drive. You actually can download it, but it's still in course format, okay? And you guys will see when you actually get the link, if you want to download the course or the book to your, let's say, your cell phone or your smartphone, there's options there for you to do so. Uh, but yeah, let's go ahead and see what's coming next. So we put the walls and we put the doors in, right? So we have all the doors in, and we'll actually show you guys how to label the doors um, and the windows. So we're gonna actually drop the windows in next, 36 by 72. Let's go back to the model here. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead back to the first floor plan, and let's go ahead and add the windows. And I think in the book, what they are saying they want to add, well, let's see something. If you go to the Annotate tab and you click Tag All, okay, you can select door tags, and they should come on for you. I think mine is set up a little bit differently. There they are. They are on. So you can come here, okay, and you can tell it what kind of tag you want. But you guys, you'll get the standard tag that's shown in the book here. Let's go back. Again, what I'm doing, I'm utilizing something that's that I'm using for the industry. But you guys will get a tag, something just like this. So if you're getting this tag, then you're good to go. Okay. All right. Now, also, let's go back to the model. So I want this tag to actually reflect just a regular opening tag. Just a regular door tag. Now, did you know that the match properties command that we utilize in AutoCAD is the same in Rivet? So if you type in, I think it's MA, you select this door, and then you select this door. Oh, it's not working. MP. Let's see. No, it's not going to work in this case. Let's see. MA. Let me select the tag. Yeah. So if you type in MA, okay, let's undo. I want you guys to get this. So if you type in MA for match properties, okay, and you select the tag that you want to make all the other tags like, and then you select the tags that you want to change, then you could change all of the tags. Okay, again, your tag is going to look a little bit different from mine, okay? Yours is going to look just like what's shown in the book. Mine is a little bit different because, you know, this is something that I utilize when I do contracts with show plans down in Houston. Okay, here we go. And you can actually take these tags and you can move them. If you don't like them in the space where they are, I typically like to place them in the door because it's just good for clarity. You never know, you may have to drop a dimension somewhere on this side. So I like to place them within the swing of the door, okay? Except for here, you know, this is fine right here. Unless we had a need to move it, then we can place it, and you can select it and move it as well. We can just place it right there. It's still 3-0 door, and the contractor can see that there's 2 of them there, or we can copy this and put another one here. Okay, now let's go back to the book, and let's go to the windows. Okay. And they're asking for 3672 windows. With the window tool, change the type selected to 24. So let's go ahead and drop some windows in. We'll start with 36 by 72. Okay, let's go back to Rivet. Okay, so as per the floor plan, we're showing a window in the bathroom. So for windows, you just type in WN, okay? Or you can come over here to the architecture tab and you can go right here and type in window and click the window, okay? Now, again, this guy have all kinds of 36 by 72. I have all kinds of windows in here. You guys do not have all of these windows, so you know, don't fret. You can actually go and just select 36 by 72. As for me, I'm gonna have to go with something a little bit. Let's just say, here it is. So this is 3670. Let's go ahead and take that window And windows are the same way. You see the wide side of the window? That's the exterior side, okay? So if you hover above the inside, it's going to swing it in. If you hover above the outside, it's going to place the exterior side on the correct side, the outside. But let's place it on the inside. I'm going to show you guys what to do in the event that you place a window the wrong way. So now we have a window there. Okay, let's go back to your 3D model. And you can see your window is right here, okay? Now, actually that looks right until you flip it. So you could actually select the window here and then flip it, and it's going to flip, okay? So actually that's not bad either, but that is the correct way because you have your brick header and you have your footer as well. So now let's look at that window on the inside. Right, so you have your frame and everything, so that's how you know that's the inside of the window. So on the exterior of the building, this is what it's going to look like, okay? Now say if we wanted to, see what it looks like shaded, or better yet, let's just say consistent colors. Our brick is gray, our doors are black, okay? And we can actually change all of this, but we'll get into this a little bit later. It's a little bit much to go into right now. But if you go into the Manage tab, then you can actually change the materials, change the colors. I'll be honest with you, this is a whole different course in and of itself. I think there should be an advanced Rivet course that I would love to teach, where I could actually dive into materials and dive into, doing things like, 3D animations, total building walkthroughs, right? But again, we don't have time. Typically, at the end of this course, most of my students, if they do well, they actually do get to do an animation, but it's so simplistic. There's no rendering, there's no materials and nothing added. But it's just good to have the students to actually go through that. So, yeah. Now, let's go back to the floor plan, and let's go ahead and add the rest of the windows. So we'll keep the windows the same. But you know what? Before I move on, let's talk about editing the window. All right, which you won't be doing much of it in this course, but I want you to pick up on some things that are pertinent. So this is the project browser. This tells you what's in the project, and over here, what we're looking at is the properties menu. In the properties menu, this is where you can modify everything, okay? So let's go to graphics right here. You see this right here at the top? That's called a header, okay? That's called a header, okay? This is called a seal, and these are the mullions. So when you click that window, it's going to give you everything that's on in that window. The header is visible, you can see it. The seal is visible, you can see it. The mullions are visible, you can see it. Look at the vertical muntins. So this is a muntin. You have one vertical muntin, and you have two horizontal muntins. As you can see, when you actually click the window here, you have one vertical muntin and two horizontal muntins. Well, you could change this to 3 if you wanted to have a different look on the window, right? So now you have 3 muntins available. And let's leave it at that. I like that. I like the way that looks. It's kind of consistent with the muntins on the doors, right? So let's go with that one. We'll leave it at that for now. But let's go ahead and double click it again. Now, you have something called head height. That's the height of the window from the floor, which is, right now, it's drawn in at 8 feet, and that's perfect. We want to leave it at that, okay? Head height, 8'8". And that's 2 different settings here, okay? Again, you guys won't have it twice because of the type of project that I'm working in, all right? When we do our when we jump into the big project, I'll design that from a design template that you guys have. Right now, I'm just going through this exercise with you guys to bring you into the Rivet environment, to bring you in to this matrix, so to speak, okay? So let's go ahead, let's go back to the floor plan, okay? Now, let's add the rest of the windows, okay? And we have some that'll be bigger than others. And what I like to do is I just like to place them, right? So let's go right here, create similar, So now you have the same type window with the 3 horizontal mountains, okay? And you want to place one right here. Okay, again, you can hit the space bar or you can hover above the inside wall to swing it in. We also know that the wide side should be facing out. Okay, and now we have that same window that's going to take place in this room. So you can actually select this window, hit MM the mirror, and select the center reference plane. And now you have windows on both sides. Okay, now go here, right click, create similar. And there's another window that's somewhere right here, something like that. They don't give us accurate dimensions in terms of spacing, so we'll just go ahead and just place it in there. Now select that window and hit MM for mirror. Select the center reference plane. Now that window is in the same spot in this room as it is in this room because of the symmetry aspect of the model. All right, now let's look at the living room. Typically, you'll have some larger windows. So let's do it like this. Let's go to create similar, and let's place a window right here. Okay, and it'll tell you 13.6, 13.6. That's how you know it's centered on that wall. Okay, so now we can take this window and we can make it a bigger picture window. So this one is 3670. Let's make this one a 4070. It's gonna get bigger. Let's see, 3670. Let's see. Let's make it a little bit bigger. 3670. Let's see. You can change yours. Mine is a little bit different, but you guys will get the gist of it here. In fact, let's make it one of these guys, just for me. You can change yours to, I think what the book is calling for. Let's see, hold on 1 second. 3672, and you could change yours and make it bigger. So you make it about 60 inches wide. In fact, let's do it here. Let's go here, and let's change this one to a if I can see it, okay, double window. So now it's going to get wider. Okay. But for you guys, what you would do is you would come here like we made changes to the floor. You would actually select the window. You would go to edit type. Okay. You would click duplicate. Always remember to click duplicate. Okay. And you can give it a name. Let's say if you're going from 36 to 72, you can say 72 inch window. And then you can click OK. And then you come here to the parameters of the window or the dimensions, okay, and you just want to change the window's width, okay. So you come here and you can just type in 0-72, all right. I kind of leave it up to you guys to adhere to the book. I kind of do demonstrations. Typically, I will build the model verbatim, but right now, since we're just kind of in the beginning stages and we have not gotten to the larger scale or larger size model, which is where I'll actually, create it from a template, the same template that you guys have, okay? But this is how you would go and change window sizes. Make sure you duplicate. If you don't duplicate, you're going to change every window in your project. And I know that's going to happen to some of you. And if it does, I want to know about it because I know it happens every semester. Okay, so let me just click cancel because I don't want to change mine, but you guys can change yours. Now let's go back to the 3D model and see what it looks like. This is the power of Rivet, okay? It's building the 3D model for you while you're constructing two-dimensional plans, right? So let's go back to the first floor plan. And we are showing two windows on side of the picture window, right? So let's take this window and click create similar. And let's drop it somewhere, let's just say about right there, okay? Now we can draw a reference plane on the center of this window, RP for reference plane. And we can draw it like this. And now we can take this window and hit MM for mirror and mirror it about that reference plane. That way we know we have equal distance on both sides. Okay, so you guys get the gist of it. Play around with it. You do have the book. If you follow the book step by step, you should not have any problems. You really shouldn't have any problems because I'm doing this verbatim. The only thing is I'm drawing from a different project template. So if you're running into any hang-ups or anything like that, just let me know. But it's pretty much clean cut and clear. Everything that I've done is exactly how you would do it in your model under your brand new template as well. So now let's go and add the windows on this side of the living room. So we're going to take this same window, since we already have it constructed, right click, and we're going to click create similar. And this guy is not centered on the room. It's kind of more like right there. I like the fact that they're giving us a leeway. Typically, you'll have dimensions showing us exactly where each window is. And in fact, I think we need more windows in the bedroom. So, I'm going to take this one and copy it. CO for copy. Just drop another one right there. Then I'll take this and hit MM and mirror it about this axis to place another one there. And now create similar with this window, and we'll place another window right here. Okay. And let's take both of them, and you hold down the control panel, and you can select multiple items at once. So let's do that again. Hold down control, you can select this window and that window, and that one. You can select multiple items at once. If you don't hold down control, then you can only select one, right? So hold down control. Let's select this window and that window. Let's nudge them up a little bit. I'm not gonna, judge you guys on dimensional or spacing on windows, at least not at this time. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go back to the model. Now, as you can see, here is our model, or basically the building envelope of our model. Okay. Right. Now, let's go back to the floor plan. Okay. And let's go back to the architecture tab. And let's try to put in a ceiling. So what kind of ceiling do we want? We just want a generic ceiling. Okay. And you can do automatic ceiling, but let's try it. You'd come in and you'd have a ceiling in this room, ceiling in that room, ceiling in that room. It's not creating it because a lot of times you have trouble with ceilings. So let's go back to ceiling, and you want to click sketch ceiling, right? And you want to go back to that same pick lines command, the same thing that we utilize when we put the floor in. Okay. So now, instead of going to the outside of the interior wall studs, we want to stick to the face of the interior wall studs, okay? And you guys are going to see how we're doing this because we have different parts of the building. We want to make sure that our ceilings are separate. So we'll have a separate ceiling here, separate ceiling here, separate ceiling here, and a separate ceiling for the bathroom. But we have to make sure that these loops are closed, right? So you hit TR for trim extend. Let's close it here. I'm going to close it here. I'm going to close it right here. It's already closed there. And you want to close it here. Okay. Now, what you want to do is hit the check mark to finish the edit mode. And then go into the same place. Oh, you know what? Let me undo because what's happening is Rivet is picking up the automatic ceilings that we tried to put in because they placed them in. So we'll go back to the windows. Okay, let's go forward once more. Now, let's go and click ceiling, sketch ceiling, pick lines. So we go click here, let's click here, and click here, and click here, and click here. Now, we want the ceiling offset. Let's go with 12-foot ceilings. Okay, now let's hit TR to trim extend. So close it there. You want to close it here, and you want to close it here, and you want to close it here, and you want to close it here. Okay. finish mode. Now you have your ceilings in. You can't see them, but if you go to your 3D model, you'll now see that your ceiling is there. Now, what's happening is our walls, we just drew them in. We didn't give them a height or a value, okay? The top constraint is up to first floor, okay? Let's go to the front elevation. Let's see. Yes, okay. So we have levels set up already, okay? So what you want to do is, let's see, what is the dimension on this ceiling? I think it's 20 feet, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it's 11.8. Yes. Now, let's go back to your 3D model. Close this tab out. Go back to your 3D model. You want to select that wall, okay? And see where it says top constraint? You want up to finish second floor. Or was that finish second floor? Let's go back. Front elevation. You have to go back and figure out what that's like. Finish second floor. Okay. So our windows are taller than that. Alright, so yeah. Close this out. Let's go back to your 3D model. Select the ceiling, okay? Finish second floor. And we said that was what, 11.8, I believe, not mistaken. Let's see. Just want to double check. Yeah, 11.8. So close that out. Let's go back to your 3D. Select this guy, which is your ceiling. See the offset is set to 12? Change it to 11 feet 8 inches. So you would type 11, hit the space bar, and hit 8. It automatically reads it as 11 feet 8 inches. You don't have to put the feet and inches mark in with it, okay? So hit enter, and you should see your ceiling drop down, right? In fact, let's just make it 11 foot general. Let's go with 11. Just type in 11. That way it's a little bit lower, yeah. Okay, now you can select all the walls, hold down shift to orbit, okay, and just press the mouse wheel down to orbit, and also release the shift button and press the mouse wheel down to pan, and then hold down the shift button again to select all of the walls, the control button to select all of the walls, and then come over here to the properties menu where it says top constraint. You click here, up to level finish second floor, okay. So as you can see, this is how we're going to go about building this model. Let's go ahead and put the rest of the ceilings in, and we may actually do the roof, but I think due to time constraints, we're just going to do the roof for next class period, okay? So let's go ahead back to first floor plan. We need to put a ceiling in here and in the bedrooms, right? So let's go ahead, select ceiling. You want to sketch the ceiling because the automatic ceiling, sometimes it just goes crazy. I never use it. I always sketch my ceilings because it's Rivet, the most powerful software in the country. However, it does has its glitches, okay? And you guys will see as we matriculate throughout this course. So let's go ahead and select the wall. And you want to, let's put the ceiling in the bathroom here. So you click here, click here, click here, click here. Now what do we have to do? We have to close the loops, right? So you hit TR for trim extend. Click here, click here, click here, and click here. Click here, and click here, click here, and here. And also, let's go ahead and put the ceilings in for the bedrooms. So you go here, here. You have to do them one at a time. Here. Okay, then TR. Okay. Okay, now click the pick lines command again, and let's pick the ceiling in this bedroom. We know it overlaps. So TR, if you get those error messages, just disregard. It's just telling you that it's overlapping the lines that's on this side. Okay, so click here, click here. Rivet does not like overlapping lines. Make sure that you're closing all loops. That way when you get ready to finish sketches and things of that nature, you don't get an error message and it drives you insane. So now, as you can see, we have these walls all with these ceilings in. Now, what do? We change this ceiling to 11 feet, right? So typically, let's go with something a little bit shallower in the bedrooms and in the bathrooms. That's why I drew them separately. So you can actually select this guy right here, and let's change it to 10 feet there. You see them drop down. There you go. Okay. So that's essentially what you're going to have. You go to the first floor plan. You can go to annotate, and no, we're not going to tag any rooms just yet. We're not going to annotate anything. We're not going to do dimensions. I want you guys to actually get this part first. This is tremendous progress for module 1. Okay, so good stuff, right? Good stuff. Now let's have everyone to look at this guy. You can always select a wall and right click and select hide in view, and then go to elements. You don't want to hide the category because then it'll turn all your walls off. This functions as a form of layering, but in 3D mode, like AutoCAD does in 2D. So you want to select this guy, right click, and you want to hide it in view, and you want to hide just that one element. So now you can kind of see, what's going on the inside of your building. You can kind of see like the differences with the walls and the differences with the ceilings. And one thing I see that I don't like is this wall right here actually needs to come all the way up. So you can actually manually drag this thing. You select something, you see the grips, you can drag it up. Or you can come here, like we did the exterior walls, finish second floor. I select the wrong thing. In fact, let's go here. Yeah, sometimes Revit glitches. Okay, so we have this wall selected, the base constraint, finish first floor, top constraint, finish second floor. So it goes way up to second floor ceiling. Sometimes it glitches, so you kind of have to know what you're doing. So if that is the case, we know that the finished second floor is 11'8". So look at where the top offset is coming from. The base constraint, finished first floor. Okay. Sometimes it'll be off. The base would be, or sometimes you'll have an offset on the base. I always like to troubleshoot and see why Revit is glitching to make sure that it's truly glitching, because sometimes it's just telling you, hey, something is wrong with the model. But in this case, it is truly glitching. So let's go back to the top constraint and just set it to first floor ceiling. It still didn't move. All right, so let's go top offset. And that's what it's doing. Right. So now you select it, and let's go to the second floor, and then apply. There it is. So what it was doing was, because we stretched it manually first, because we used the grips at first, it was going from where we had placed it with the grips. So I had to undo everything and impute the right value for Revit to actually read it correctly. And let's do the same thing with these walls over here. So we can take this guy, let's hide in view. Select it, right click, hide in view, elements. Select it, right click, hide in view, elements. So let's take this wall and this wall, and we want to up to second floor. It's going to go up. All right. Now, how do we turn the walls back on that we turned off? Well, you see this little light bulb right here? Okay, when you click it, everything that's turned off, it's going to be highlighted in red. Okay. I know this is a pretty cool aesthetic feature graphically, but you can go here, select this wall, hold down the control, select that wall, hold down shift and use the pan to orbit around, hold down control, select that wall, right click, and you can select unhide in view elements. This turns them back on. Now, to get out of the reveal hidden elements mode, you want to click the reveal hidden elements icon. You click it, and now you can see that your model has been constructed. So what we're going to do next class period, we may go ahead and put the roof on. We may go ahead and actually put some footings and some foundations in, because right now we just have the floor. So good stuff, guys. I hope this was very helpful. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. The FTG 1392 Rivet Architecture, Houston Community College.